Yeah.
What do you guys think that Amado's plan is? Do you think that he's just trying to bring back his daughter, or do you think he has ulterior motives?
So the thing
obviously,
go
we
ahead,
can't say for certain. If I had to pick right now, based off the current evidence, he is trying to bring his daughter back. He's just not trying to do it the way he's saying.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning, some of the acts, like for example, he might want Kawaki to put a karma on the Akebi clone, but he's not giving you the full picture of his plan. Like, there's way more to the plan that he hasn't explained, whether it involves some things that people would frown upon or not, but he hasn't laid out the whole plan, I don't think.
Yeah, he is half-truths.
Because he could use any other method to revive her at any time, so it's clearly not that. I think what he wants, just going with the most basic bare bones.
Well, he did say, if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, he said he did try other ways, but that's when Delta came about, and he was nothing like her daughter.
What Oodie's really getting at is bro did not try to clone Granny Chio and revive his daughter. We all know he didn't do that. That's what he's getting at. But personally, even though that's stupid and the story will probably never address it, I'm gonna look past it. My thing is, the plan he gave doesn't make sense, and Amado should know it doesn't make sense based on other things Amado has explained. And I don't think it's as simple as what he's saying. Not to mention that there's also the whole clear setup that Akebi will probably be an Otsutsuki in some manner, whether it's just like Boruto and just she's Otsutsuki-fied or she just is evil. But they are setting up the fact that she will be Otsutsuki and Kawaki will not like it.
Which, let's be honest, I think Amado knows that to be true. I don't believe him when he says he doesn't know. Hypothetically, let's just believe him he doesn't know. I think he's banking on it. I think he wants her to be. He's hoping she will be Otsutsuki. At the very least, because he doesn't want to lose her ever again. He wants to make sure once she comes back, she's not going to be human, because then she could just die of the same disease. Or anything else in the world.
She could, in theory, be the nice, sweet Akebi girl that she was. Her personality, he might plan on her personality being perfectly innocent. But she's not going to be just an ordinary girl. It's going to be, like you said, it's going to be like Hidan. He's going to want her to be unkillable, basically. Yeah.
This is clear as evident as possible, considering the fact of what he's saying to Kawaki, that he'll fight like a man, like a dad or whatever, against Kawaki. I guess his bare fist is going to punch him to death if Kawaki tries to attack her or something.
Now, I will also add that, at face value, just being Otsutsuki-fied, I don't care what the Boruto manga is going to put at you. It doesn't mean shit other than being with the Master Chakra signature and fly. That's not going to make her immortal. He's doing other things too. He's going to give her freaking the nonsense Kawaki near immortal defenses of regeneration. He's going to throw in whatever else. He's going to
karma,
do things that Kawaki's going to see as threatening, especially when he finds out that she's Otsutsuki-fied. But at face value, aren't inherently threatening.
She's obviously going to have Shibai cells and a Shin Jutsu.
Yeah, probably.
So you can't imagine she just doesn't. But
and we don't even know what Akebi's really like as a person, especially if she was given power.
True, as far as we know, she makes Delta look nice. I doubt it, though.
Well, and also, hypothetically, with some people, let's say Light Yagami, Light was, obviously he had some underlying things about him, but for the most part, when Light doesn't have the power to kill the whole world by knowing a name and face, he is acting as a noble citizen. He's not going around killing people. He's being a good person, more or less. Akebi could be similar, but the moment you give her the power to kill others, feeling she has, thoughts on the world she has, let's just say she has a little bit of a distaste towards the ninja system, hypothetically. Well, as a random civilian, she couldn't do shit about it. She didn't care, but now she can. Will she now want to do something about it? Will her goals change because she now has the power to change things? That's a very reasonable thing that can happen to literally anyone. they can say power corrupts people.
The same with
That
intelligence.
can apply to this girl too, even if she is a sweetheart.
Especially,
it's possible.
Especially Kamui, especially after she's already been killed once from this world that cruelly and carelessly tossed her aside to die like she was nothing. She's gonna want to change the world now.
Especially like depending on the context. So the context of why, like, so I'm not saying this is the case, and also Oodie, let's just go to your podcast topic about this, where you said Boro's virus should have been the disease that killed Akebi as an idea. No, there's problems with this. I'll just stress them. Amado's the one who gave Boro the virus.
I already know, which is why I wrote that caveat there. But let's be honest, Kamui. Ikimoto forgot. He's not gonna remember that.
I wouldn't be surprised, but hypothetically, though, if Boro just did have the virus separate from Amado, that just was like if regenerations from Amado and the virus was something Boro came up with, let's say, and as part of Jigen's plan, hypothetically, that actually could work, because then it's like this cruel, corrupt system went out of their way to kill me, to manipulate my dad, to doing all these crazy things. That would piss her off when she is revived and finds it out. Like, that could, in theory, actually work.
Yeah, I mean, Obito's whole thing was that he hated the ninja system that led to the outcomes that happened. Akebi, it'd be essentially the same thing, the Otsutsuki system, or whatever you want to say. I still think it's fine if it's none of that, and she just hates essentially Madara's ideal of just he hates the world as a system. And the natural system is how she would word it. The natural system. She hates that. She was a victim of the natural system.
Ikimoto is seemingly not going the route of writing these types of characters, as he said himself in his interview. So chances of this happening, pretty slim. Kawaki's really the only one so far that's kind of fitting the old Naruto-like character arc. Most of these other ones are distinctly unique.
That being said, I could totally, so easily see Ikimoto write it this way. Jigen just used Boro to virusify Akebi so he can tell Amado that Jigen can revive her in the same way that Madara killed Rin to an extent.
That was the comparison I was going to make, but I'm not expecting it, because obviously that's just a blatant retcon, so I'm not going to expect it. But if they rewrote it to begin with, I mean, to some extent, they could just... Actually, you know what? I have a solution. Because nothing necessarily states that Amado is the first member of Kara with Jigen. Because of that, it's possible for Boro to have already been a member. It's possible. It's not a retcon in that case. We do know, according to Sasuke, with his bug investigative research, that Boro's cult was doing scientific research and development behind Jigen's back. Hypothetically, Boro's virus could have come from Boro's own research. It's not Amado/Jigen. And if that's the case, you actually could do that. Just have Boro already be a member. Amado needs Jigen. Says, hey, Boro, you got this cool-ass virus you came up with. Go do this for me. They actually could do it without a retcon. Because nothing directly states that Amado... you could say Kawaki did because Amado remodeled everyone, blah, blah, blah. But because of Sasuke's line, you could just simply say the virus is the thing Boro developed on his own. And it could work.
I mean, I would be down. But I am down for both. I mean, we've already technically got this.
I'm more down for mine because it addresses dialogue that never went anywhere and prevents retcons. But I actually would be down. I don't expect it, but I would be down.
Yeah. I mean, we've got both storylines already. One through the anime of seeing Boro virusify that one village, but that village isn't people that we know or care about. And then the second being in the war arc, technically in the novels, we just see children dying from sickness just naturally, generally anyways. Not a manipulation angle or anything. So we got both angles of manipulation and the world being cruel. So either way, it would be a repeat, but it's, I guess, preference at that point.
Yeah.
The way it currently is the natural angle, but I would be completely fine if they retconned it to the manipulation angle. Either way, we technically get both at that point, since right now it's the natural angle, and they would have to change it in the future, or I guess recontextualize it to be the manipulation angle.
Reveal that it's all it was always.
Exactly. But either way, it'd be both at that point, technically, even if it's just one.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm not expecting that. I'm more so expecting that it's just it was a disease and that's that. I just don't know what they're going to do as far as Akebi's feelings on it, because I don't know what character they want. Like, I don't know if Akebi's gonna be a villain or if Kawaki's just gonna be afraid that she's a villain. That's the issue there.
Okay. Free game, what do you think?
I blanked out. Like rehash.
Yeah, so basically the idea is, for the story, would you rather it if Akebi just naturally got sick and just coincidentally is one of the few children that just does die? Or would you prefer it that Jigen had Boro do the virus behind Amado's back in order to, like, ask him to join Kara after Akebi had already died?
Wait, had Boro use a poison?
Yeah, like Boro poisoned Akebi in this hypothetical. Would you prefer that?
Okay.
Hold on. Refresh your memory on who Akebi is.
Akebi is Amado's daughter.
Oh, Amado's daughter.
Yeah, right now in the story
to do that though.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same way Boro virusify anyone. Right now, it seems as if Akebi just died naturally, but it could be revealed in the future that it could have been Boro or someone else that Jigen had kill her to get Amado to join.
I mean, yeah, it's a plausible explanation, but I don't know. I don't know if Amado would along with Jigen plan to
well, the idea would be that he didn't know.
Oh, he didn't know, and he just joined up with Jigen?
It's similar to what Madara did with Obito, the fact that Madara is the one that set up Rin's death, rather than it just happening naturally.
Oh, shit. That would be a plot twist.
Right?
But they should have did that shit. They should have drug off, they should have drugged Jigen's, like, car activation arc a little bit further, so we could have got more, unless they flash back into Blue Vortex and we get like an Amado chapter and he explains more of what happened with him and Jigen. Until then, I can't come to a conclusive decision on that.
Actually, so Kamui, I know I wrote this as like a revelation for later on, but just as a quick rewrite, you just throw this into the Ishiki arc, the Kara arc, or whatever. It makes it a little bit more condensed as well if you keep the same pacing. This could have been his whole reason for defecting in the first place, because he found out this maybe is why he made Koji, or made him to work with Amado to kill Jigen in the first place, rather than guilt or whatever other nonsense reason that they actually threw out. As of now, anyways.
Yeah.
That would also help going into the Code arc, because then, well, he's done this, but he still wants to revive Akebi anyways, even though he's got justice or whatever.
Yeah, both. I mean, I think both can work. Obviously, that would obviously just work as like a Amado motivation to betray Ishiki, because as it is, it's like his reasoning's just the whole, the planet, blah, blah, blah. But Ishiki's like asking, like, why are you guys betraying me? Well, this would be the reason to be like, because you betrayed us first, basically, in a sense.
In which case, I still think this would be even better, because Koji wouldn't know that. Amado's doing it for selfish reasons. Koji just thinks it is the world reason as is, and so much so that he doesn't just think it. He's fighting for the world. He actually actively believes in the world, which can get into Two Blue Vortex, the Koji versus Amado weird fight thing that they have going on anyways.
With that in mind, would you have preferred, I think this argument's for both, but would you prefer that Ishiki either tells Koji, like, Amado's doing this because, I killed his daughter, whatever, or that this is a revelation for Koji to find out in part 2?
I think it would have been fine for part 1 when he's fighting Jigen, because it makes it all the more impactful that Koji continues to fight against Jigen instead of, like, hypothetically turning against Amado or whatever.
Yeah, maybe he's like, he's that's absurd things about the fact that like, no, Amado, he would care about the world too. Or like...
Well, I wasn't thinking about it like that. I was more so thinking of the fact that they have this weird thing going on of whether or not Koji knows he's going to die. Obviously, Ishiki and Amado think he's going to die based on what Naruto's reaction is, and Ishiki would just obviously think it anyways. Koji is kind of unclear. In this case, he would just fight to the death, even though Akebi, or even though Amado is basically just discarding him as a tool.
Yeah.
So he's fighting for what's right.
The other hypothetical, though, would be having Amado discover this fact into Blue Vortex instead. So, like, it's something that he's going to find out, however he does, but as an alternative.
I think it would especially work since Ishiki already was like, oh, he poofed away. He must be going to go kill Amado. And the fact that we know that didn't happen, that could have been why he didn't go to do it. Maybe he got the reveal there or beforehand or something. It could just lead into that. Whatever happened to have him heal off screen, we could get a flashback to that at some point. That could be the revelation. I mean, we know it's 10 directions.
Obviously, like, that's not an option now, though. Yeah. So, what would you think about the idea of getting the revelation to Blue Vortex? Like, what way would you like it best, and what way would you like it worst? You have to come up with a how for it, but I don't know off the top of my head how.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how Amado. So that's the problem. Is like, how would Amado figure this out without having already figured it out? And either we have to come from Koji via like 10 directions knowledge.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Koji sees Akebi's revival and gets the information that way.
So either, I guess there's 3 options. Koji, Shura finds out somehow through Shinji whatever things, and then Amado finds out through that. I guess a fourth one. Now Ada finds out through Sentry Gun shenanigans, or I forgot the other one. Oh, Ishiki comes back, and then that's how he finds out because Ishiki reveals it.
Yeah,
kind of like Madara.